Hello everybody, Trace here and welcome to another disabled opinion video. Last time I did a opinion video on Diabolical, which I thought they did a really good job on that, and I was editing down the content for my Valorant streams, and I thought, you know what, I'm not really enjoying just making the same content as everybody else, so I'll do another opinion on, again, based on what I think Valorant has done well for someone who is half blind, half deaf, with mobility issues. So I will go through a couple different sections here, lay out what I think is good, and if there are any negatives, I'll go through those when I get to them. So first off, Valorant has a very nice options menu. There are very clear options, very clear things that you can change for your crosshair. You can change your key bindings really easily, and there's a lot of different things you can change about and edit down to what you desire. There's no audio settings that I've really find for people that are deaf, but that's not really important. I mean, it's an FPS. I'd understand that they don't want to compromise the high level gameplay by adding something that could potentially be abused by people who aren't deaf. So I understand that. Starting out, I'd just like to praise Valorant's training session area. A little area that you can go around, you can try out all the guns, try out everything, shoot some targets. There'll be a little thing showing that off right now. It's very lovely, you get to test all the characters and all the abilities, so that gets an immediate thumbs up from me. And now we'll segue on to the movement side of things. This will encompass how I move in the game and how I feel about it, and generally how I feel everything feels. Is it clunky or whatever? So starting out, for those who haven't seen my previous video, I'm going to skate over what I have, because that's covered in so many of my videos. You could just go back and watch them if you need information about my disability. But basically I use two fingers on the keyboard. Key bindings have been an issue, but not a huge issue. There are more buttons in this game than your standard FPS, because abilities take up resources instead of them being grenades. So I've had to rebind, I've had a bit of difficulty rebinding them, not much, but I haven't found totally comfortable bindings yet. I accidentally click my Q key quite a lot, and I haven't found a comfortable place to put it that I can still hit with only two fingers on the keyboard. But that'll come with time, I'm sure, as I get more comfortable with the systems. Movement itself, the gameplay is good. The characters move fluidly. My mouse, isn't jerky. There doesn't seem to be any smoothing on the mouse. Like, stuff just moves the way you'd expect a first-person shooter to move, especially in the CS:GO range of games. It's well done. The character visually, there's no animation issues that I've come across so far. There's nothing I feel like I've been killed unfairly because of a hitbox issue or anything like that. Movement is super clear and precise. Hearing in terms of movement, which I'll cover a bit more later, but just to touch on briefly, footsteps, great. They did a really good job on the sound design there. That's going to segue very nicely into talking about how the visual stuff works. So visually, stuff is it's like 50-50. I haven't gotten used to the cartoony visuals yet, so it's kind of hard to sometimes see characters. And I had it set to the red outline for characters, and that was kind of bad, but then when I changed it to pink, it actually became a lot clearer, and I haven't had as much difficulty with that anymore. I can see people a lot clearer now, and that's good. Even with cornea scarring, I don't have to lean into the screen. On the art design of the maps, however, I have to give high praise for them being really, really clear. I'm having no difficulty seeing anything on the map, really. It's all super clear where things are. Everything's well lit. Everything is just clear. And some might think it's a bit empty and a bit sparse for a 2020 game, but I think it's great. It reminds me a lot of Crossfire's art style. I think it's wonderful. Guns as well, I think. Nice clear designs for what stuff is. Super good. Abilities too. The art design on that. When ults are popping off, it's super clear. When abilities are being used, they're super clear. The indications are top-notch. There are visual indicators for when people are dying on the map and roughly where that was. And it will show up on the mini-map. The mini-map also has super good visual indicators for people's deaths, for ults and where they're going, for smokes and where they're going. Speaking of smokes, they're visually stunning. I love the smoking in this game. I love how clear it is when a space is smoked off, and just how there's like no way they're gonna easily see through that unless they use the wall hacking abilities. And just great visual design and visual clarity. They're like a cute little orb, and it just smokes off a point for most characters, unless you use a wall ability. But again, both are super distinct, super clear, super like visually just good job. Now, mainly onto the hearing side of things. Sound design in this game, great. Guns sound good. I can tell which guns are what so far. The ults, as I said, loud as heck. You can hear them from across the map. Super easy to hear, super easy to know what's being used and when. Because each character will, much like in Overwatch, each character will yell their specific ult, so you know who's using what. And just movement. The moving of footsteps is so clear. I have had this trouble in so many games with my deafness, not being able to hear footsteps. I do not have that trouble in this game. So that's good. They did a really, really good job. Stuff makes different noises depending if it's on metal or grass or, you know, whatever. It's clear, it's concise. I've been able to give accurate callouts because I'm not being confused about where people are. It is incredibly hard to run in this game and sneak up on people. So that gets a plus. For those of you wondering, by the way, why I'm not talking more in depth about the abilities and what they do and stuff like that, that's not my prerogative. My prerogative is only from a disabled standpoint. So I'm not going to be going in depth about the characters themselves and what they each do, because that has nothing to do with my disability. They're characters, they have abilities. The key bindings are all I care about, and whether I'm able to hit those key bindings properly, which in this case is not so difficult. So yeah, this is a relatively short one, but that's my opinion on Valorant. It's good. It's got everything pretty much sorted. If there were some issues, I'd have to say the key bindings are the worst bit so far. But everything else can just be learnt, and it's all clear. They've done a really good job. Games this, last couple of years have been doing a really good job of being clear and presentable, and not, like, Overwatch is such a clusterfuck. I can't play Overwatch, my eyes go berserk. But this game, I can get behind. So I fully endorse Valorant for its disabled aspect. It's done a really good job, I thought. Well, thank you very much for watching, y'all. Goodbye.